does not hit.
Alright, then can I move out of his range?
If you've got movement left, you sure can. It doesn't
Yeah,
have a
I got
reaction right now.
Okay.
All right, who's next?
Genie with purple token on deck.
Genie, you have no wounds.
I sure don't.
Oh.
Genie is going to hold her action to shoot a firebolt at the monster when he surfaces.
Okay.
Well, that's her turn.
Very good.
Got purple with blue on deck.
All right, so whose held actions does this trigger?
I think Genie is the only one that took one.
He's
Orson can
technically
get a
entering
reaction.
Orson's threat range if he still has a reaction.
I don't think he's used it.
Yeah. That's an 18 to hit from Orson.
That'll hit.
Okay. That's 8 points magic piercing.
Okay.
And
that's
its
a-
speed is 0, right?
And that puts its speed to 0, doesn't it?
I don't think I think we determined that the Polearm Mastery does not trigger the special effect from.
Oh, okay.
So that and from Genie's Firebolt, that is a 22.
22 will hit.
Yep. All right. We'll see if he likes fire damage.
He doesn't. I mean, he doesn't. Nobody likes being burned.
That's 10 points fire damage.
Okay. The light of the fire looks strangely beautiful as it reflects over the glass thing's armor. That was it for readied actions. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Let me see how this measures out.
Abdera's
Everybody-
spread out.
Except Genie and Ekon. Oh, and Victor is immune to this effect too because of protection, yes?
Yeah, if
Okay.
it's a charm effect and that's an elemental, he's immune.
Got it. So Edmont, Orson, and Evie. I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw. DC is 13.
Orson.
I rolled much better this time. That's a pass from Edmont.
Evie
Ors-
passed, but a familiar failed.
Orson failed.
Okay. If you failed, you are charmed. While you're charmed, your movement speed is 0, and you cannot attack my monster who has done nothing wrong. He's got how much movement left? 15. I'll put him right here, approaching Evie with the thick of his blade. So Orson is charmed, Victor is not, and Evie is not. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Evie already has 1 wound. Evie,
Mm-hmm.
I have a 22 to hit.
That very hits.
It very hits.
Uh-huh.
Is there a difference between just regular hitting and very hitting?
There is in Pathfinder 2 2nd edition.
Oh, come on. Jesus. 5 points of unresistible slashing damage, and you have taken a second glass wound.
I guess I'll cut that in half with my reaction.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, that's the end of my monster's turn. Who's next?
Orson with Evie on deck.
Okay, Orson has 2 wounds. 7 points of slashing damage. And he's charmed.
So he can spend his action to make a medicine check.
If he wants.
Yes. That's what. Actually, what he's going to do is he's going to use his action to make a medicine check. So DC 10.
Yep.
That is a pass, and then he's going to use his bonus action to second wind, giving him 1d10 plus his level back.
The second wind magical healing. It's definitely a source of healing, but I don't think it actually describes it as being. It's like more grit and resolve kind of thing.
You're literally
Yeah.
telling yourself to feel better. It's magical thinking.
Go ahead and take the healing, but I don't think second wind is going to count as magical healing for this purpose.
All right.
Even Words of Resolve was borderline, but I figure it does come from your house magic origins. Because nobles are inherently magical.
Well, I tried. It's-
He probably still needed the health, so.
yeah.
And then he can repeat that wisdom save.
You said DC 13?
Yeah, it's a 13.
Yep.
That
looks like
is
20.
a nat 20.
Okay, so Orson shakes off the charm. And who's next?
After Orson, we have Evie with Ekon on deck.
Evie, you have 2 wounds.
I sure do.
Gonna roll max damage again?
8 points of slashing damage from your 2 wounds.
Evie is at 20 hit points. And it's almost all come from bleeding.
It erodes the strength of the party.
This is devastating, the strength of the party.
The good news is when you're done giving blood, you get a cookie and a little orange juice.
I didn't bring that. It's in the bag of holding, and the bag of holding
Shoots.
doesn't work.
Okay, Victor, you ready for this? I trained for this. I spent 5 levels as noble so that we could do this.
Oh God.
I give you advantage, and we are both going to sneak attack this thing at the same time. It's going to be
Holy
amazing.
shit. See, it
Okay.
is a Suikoden game. We're up to the Unite attacks now.
Yeah. Or up to the Unites, yeah.
Ready? Oh, my familiar cannot attack. Can my familiar still aid me to hit, even though he's charmed?
No, I would count that as like a hostile action against the creature, and he's not allowed to do that
Okay.
while charmed.
All right, then, Victor, you're attacking at advantage. I am not. But maybe we'll both hit. That'd be
Okay.
cool.
If you both get sneak attacks on this guy on the same turn, you might bring him down
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, I did not hit. I rolled a 5.
Okay.
Shit.
I am using a psionic dice to make that into a 10, which is gonna be like an 18.
An 18 will hit.
And it is thunder damage still, isn't it?
Or actually, that'd be a sniper's thing I used to do that to a 10.
The sniper eye to turn your roll into
Yeah.
a 10, and then that turns into an
Yeah.
18. Okay.
And it's still thunder damage, so look at those ones.
There's some 6s in there.
25 points of thunder damage.
And you don't have a reaction to spend at the moment, do you? Like, this literally is your reaction on Evie's turn. Is that correct?
If that's the way it works, yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, the thing is very badly bloodied as you watch just these ripples across the glass from the sonic damage that you hit this thing with. Yeah, definitely does not like thunder damage at all. Evie, moving or staying put?
I used my bonus action, so if I move, it would take a swing at me and probably kill me, so I'm going to stay here.
Okay.
Good call.
It can't
Medic.
eat you, it doesn't have a mouth.
Now, if this is finally something that can't eat me.
All right, so Ekon with Edmont on deck. So I'm going to need a DC 17 Dexterity saving throw against a Sacred Flame.
I have a 14.
Okay. So that'll be 16 radiant damage.
And that's enough as the thing shatters. And again, the radiance of air, as it reflects on a million shards of breaking glass, just emanates in all directions. The tinkling of glass as the armored creature, the pieces of it, hit the floor. After a moment, silence.
We still need to be on initiative for these wounds, or
Is the immediate plan to bind everything up?
yeah.
If right
Yeah.
now one person helps Orson and 2 people help Evie, you can get them all bound up without either of them taking any more damage.
Oh yeah, the initiative. Yeah, that's fine.
Definitely.
Okay, then yeah, we'll just wipe those clean.
Evie,
Alright.
let me borrow your dagger.
Uh-huh.
All right. And then I'm going to use it to cast Cure Wounds on Evie.
I have a lot of them. It's going to take more than one.
I mean, the whole battlefield is just smeared with Evie's blood at this point.
Technically, I think I only have 2, but they hurt a lot.
They were there for a long time.
Okay, so I guess I get back 9 hit points
Okay.
for one casting. 11 points for the second casting.
Okay.
8 points for the third casting.
48 out of 57.
And then take one more for 13.
Okay.
And so that's what, 4 castings of the Dark Powers power.
Okay.
And then anybody else, I've got 5 more of these.
Edmont's SWAT, he actually did not take a single point of damage that whole combat.
Pretty much okay.
All right.
So Ekon, you have a passive perception. I think it's high. It's
19.
like 18, 19.
Yeah.
As Genie is casting these spells and healing, along the cracks up here and maybe down here, you think you see more creatures emerging on the edge of your vision in either direction.
Genie, do you remember which way that psychic emanation was?
I mean, I'm still wearing my goggles. I
Oh,
never
then
took
the
them
crack
off.
is definitely the source of the psychic emanation. You followed
Okay.
the horizon in the correct direction towards the crack, and looking down the crack, you can see the depths of it. That's definitely where the source is
I
coming
mean,
from.
I don't. Your best plan to get down there was
It's jump.
another fall. How
Yeah,
long? How far can you fall with that?
How many people can you get with it?
5.
That leaves one of us out of luck.
Well,
Can
Victor,
Edmund slow fall?
that's what I asked. Victor.
I have no idea how far down it goes.
I mean, I could cast it multiple times, but no, it just says I had it up and then I closed it because we were in the middle of a combat.
Heck, and the little spider creatures move really fast. If you spend too much longer debating this, they will converge on your position.
I mean, just it doesn't matter. Go. Everybody jump at the same time.
Just link
Okay.
arms and jump.
Yeah, the 5 of them link arms and jump.
And then you'll jump after and cast it on yourself.
Yes.
We are House Veritas. We build our wings on the way down.
It's like...
Excellent.
So, Genie, you cast Featherfall on them and let them jump.
Yeah.
And then a second later, as you jump down, I mean, you can see more of the small spider creatures scrambling up out of the crack toward your position.
Uh-huh.
And you cast Featherfall on yourself as a reaction as you fall, yes?
Let me make sure it's not like concentration or something stupid. It isn't.
Be.
As long as it's not concentration, yes, you can cast it twice.
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
manner.
No, it's fine. It's just it would be a 1-minute fall, which considering how stupid the fall rules are, like where you fall like hundreds of feet in the span of like half a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think
But
we'll
with
make it.
Feather Fall Up, it's 600 feet of gentle falling action.
As you descend into the crack, you become cognizant of more of these creatures, both the tiny spider ones and the larger ones, pushing their way out of the surface of the glass on either side of the chasm. But as you fall downward, and the Featherfall spell takes effect, and Genie's coming down last, it's almost as though your descent is sweeping them away from you, and they're not able to approach. It's impossible to say what happens next. You don't perceive a moment where you blacked out. You don't recall falling asleep or a gap in your consciousness, but you know that one moment you were descending down into the darkness of this glass chasm, and the next moment you find yourselves standing on the top of what looks like a stone structure. It's circular, and it's fairly large, maybe 60 feet across, 12 or 15 strides or so. There's an opening in the structure, a staircase that leads down into it, spiraling downward. Over the edge of the structure on either side is just empty black abyss, as though you stand on the top of a very, very large cylindrical tower. The sky overhead is black, except for the lightning-shaped crack of white light far, far away above you, much farther than Featherfall could have safely brought you down.
So
Whoever was holding the horn holds it still.
Well, I guess we go and I guess Edmont will go and peer down the staircase.
It's dark, but you see pinpoints of illumination coming up from below. You can't see very far because the stairs coil down and away from you. But there is an eerie blue light emanating from below.
If there is light down there, then I'm going to cast. I'm going to use 2 key points to cast Dark Vision on myself.
Okay.
And I am going to very slowly and very quietly go down that staircase.
Okay. At first, it feels like a standard spiral staircase that would be in any tower and any keep you've ever visited. But then you realize the stairs seem further apart. You're taking bigger and bigger steps until it becomes safer to actually sit down on each stair and hop down. The stairs almost seem like they're made for giant feet. So it's less like descending stairs, but more like climbing down a sequence of large stone platforms. And all the while, every now and then, in the walls next to you, you do see a flash of blue light illuminating just at the surface of the stone, as though there's something flowing through it.
I'm just going to stop and then wait for my family to catch up.
Okay.
Is there anything magical about that light?
There's everything magical about that light.
Yeah.
Genie, you
But once
still
my
picking
fam-
up that psionic energy?
Genie, are you still wearing the psi glasses?
oh yeah, they're not coming off.
At this point, it's like wearing NVGs. It's just everything is bathed in this source of psionic energy.
It's just the humming noise.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is just like, yeah, everything in here is a glow.
Yeah, so probably not going to be too. Those goggles are. The goggles are kind of going to do nothing by doing something.
The goggles, they do nothing.
As you descend, eventually you reach a platform that's so long you actually have to walk across it to get to the next edge. Maybe 10 or 20 feet or so. And eventually they become so far down that just dropping is no longer safe. But at that point, you see that someone has carved a second spiral staircase into what now amounts to the giant stone platform. And the pattern begins to repeat. But no matter how far you descend down, you can always still look up and see the crack in the sky high above you. Just a white, stationary lightning strike piercing the black far away.
I feel like we're getting smaller.
Eventually, the stairs snake back and forth instead of in a spiral pattern. Like so. And opens up into a very, very blue chamber. If anybody would like to grace us with some Eiffel 65, now would be an excellent time to do so.
Yeah, Edmont was leading the way. Oh wow, these are some pretty debigulated squares there.
Yeah, the rooms are enormous. In fact, I couldn't, even with the small squares, I couldn't fit the entire map on here, so they don't even conform to my smaller squares that I use.
I can barely see those squares there. So, but there's a reference to debigulate there.
Yes, they are 5-foot squares. See, all right, Edmont.
Sir.
The room is very brightly illuminated. The source of the illumination are these channels you see carved into the floor, and in some places pulling up in the walls. It sounds like liquid. You can hear it. sloshing. You can, even when you look at it, you can see the current of its movement. And this is the source of the illumination in the cave. In the center of the room are 4 stone pillars that reach all the way to the ceiling. And standing in the room looking up is a very bizarre effect because you can see the ceiling of the room. It's a physical structure above you, up overhead, maybe 40 or 50 feet in the air. Nonetheless, you can also, at the same time, see the crack that you descended into.
That's distressing.
So you can hear the welling of water in this room, and you can see the flow, and you see these 4 pillars reaching up to the ceiling, and in the center of them is a marble pool. Overlooking the marble pool at the far end of the room, over here, is a shelf built up into the far wall, maybe a 15 or 20 foot climb up off the ground, so it has a good overlook of the pool. And some kind of metallic structure itself giving off a soft blue glow.
All right. Walk down into the room itself, hop across the channel.
Okay. Yeah, the channel itself in the floor is only maybe 6 or 7 inches wide, so stepping over it is effortless.
Yeah. I'm going to walk around the space and I'm going to peer down into it.
So it looks like the same liquid as is running through the channel, except here in the pool, there's no current. It's not flowing in or out or anywhere. But it's also filled with human brains. So why don't you go ahead and make me a horror check?
Oh my. $16.
Okay, so seeing a bunch of human brains just kind of piled up and sloshed in here like a big pickle jar, pretty awful. But you managed to keep your composure. Those of you coming down the stairs, you watch as Edmont comes up to the side, and for a moment you just see this look of shock on his face as he recoils for a moment of whatever it is he's seen.
I'm going to walk back around, stand center of the rest of the group as they're approaching, and he says, "Do yourself a favor, don't look in that pool."
What's in the
Copy
pool?
that.
The stuff that goes inside a skull. He turns around and walks away.
Which will not go in the pool.
Having been forewarned of what's in the pool will prevent anyone else from having to make a horror check upon discovering it.
Yeah, I'll
So-
look up at the. I'll look
Maybe
up at
he
the.
Really want to look at brains?
So yeah, where you're standing now, Edmont and Ekon, there's a shelf in front of you. You'd have to climb up this stone wall. It's about 15 feet high, so you could get up there in 1 or 2 rounds. It'd be pretty easy. And then you can't really make out what the structure is on the top. But it looks like it's a metallic structure, maybe like a central pole with several limbs coming off in different directions.
Yeah, he's gonna. Edmont's gonna scamper up with his crazy monk movement.
Edmont, what you see when you get up here is essentially a marble dais in front of you. The metal structure sort of looks like a enormous candelabra, except instead of candlesticks, they're large basins. There are 7 of them. There are 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and then the highest of them in the center is about at the height with like your chin level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that one is jutting out forward a little bit. Each of these basins looks just about the size to hold a human head.
Sure. I'll do a once around, get a good look at the dais up here, and then
As you come around the back wall here, you see that the flow of the wall, of the liquid in the wall, juts out enough. The opening here is large enough that you'd be able to squeeze into it, should you so choose.
I'm gonna pass on that. Coming back around, call out to the others. This is what's up here.
Have you told everyone else that there are brains in that pool, or just don't look into
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I forewarned them that in that the stuff that goes inside of a skull.
So yeah, investigating the room for a moment. In general, when you see the channels in the floor, they're too small to get into. But when you see channels in walls, like here, they would be large enough for you to climb and then squeeze into them if you so chose. And of course, the pool is definitely big enough for everybody to jump in, and it's fun.
Yeah, let's go swim in brains. That sounds like a great idea.
I'm almost afraid to ask this, but could Victor telepathically commune with these brains?
Don't think that's how it works, Evie.
Victor will not even try that.
I mean, it worked in Psychonauts.
The brain was still alive.
You
We
don't
don't
know
know
that
that
these
these
ones
are.
aren't.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Same page.
In the north and south
back.
section of the room, so here and here, you see a weird refraction of light. As beyond, there's very clearly a hallway, but it's like looking through, through pixelation or abstraction, like a shower
Two-way
door.
mirror. Oh, okay. I was about to
So
say like a two-way mirror. Or...
You can see the hallway on the other side, but you can't see good detail on it. And if you get too close, you can feel a physical presence blocking entrance into the hallway.
Yeah, Edmont will put out his arm and try to push through it.
Man, it's just like pushing on a wall, except like there's nothing there.
Oh, like I said, there's a crawl space up on the dais up there, but I'd rather exhaust all other options. But it looks like we're very limited.
I take it pretty much the whole place is glowing if I look at it for magic.
Yes, everything here is. I mean, you're literally inside of a magical artifact at this point.
Right. Okay.
And then same barrier up at
Yeah,
barrier
going to
situation
the
up
north
here.
edge of the room, you can see the hallway beyond through like what is essentially crystallized glass. I don't know what the word for it, but like a shower door, creating the refraction and like you
Fog.
can't see the
Fogged glass.
Yeah.
fogged or smoked glass.
Yeah, I'll
Yep.
But you
Yeah,
can see the line on the map where the wall of force is.
Yeah.
I'll kick off the wall and then climb up to the top and then say, "Someone toss me a rope and I can help the rest of you up here."
Yep.
So this looks like our only way forward.
I'll toss him a rope.
Well, there is
Yep.
this over here.
Yeah, you can also climb up into this basin of liquid here.
I don't know that that's any better. I don't have any better idea of which way to go than you guys do.
Well,
So-
this one has a whatchamacallit on it, so
I'll help Orson up first and then let him get everyone else up.
Yeah, it's trivial to get up and down this wall. If we were in combat, it would be a different story, but we're not.
Yeah. And then,
so this is the hole you found?
yep. And you said you can squeeze into that?
If you don't mind going into the liquid, because it is flowing through there.
I'll stick my hand in the liquid.
Okay. Is Victor still down at the bottom?
No, Victor will come up.
All right. Let's get a horror check from everybody except Jeannie.
Good job, Victor.
Roll good,
13.
Victor.
It's a 7.
18.
Jeannie's just like,
Evie got a 20.
it's a little cold.
She's watched Jeannie stick her hand into weirder shit than this.
So Ekon failed a horror check. Did anybody else roll a 10 or worse?
Nope.
Only Ekon? Here's what happens. First, all of Jeannie's clothes disappear. Then all of her hair disappears. Then all of her skin disappears. She doesn't really have standard muscle tissue and skeleton and whatnot. She has those like bizarre burlap organs but then after a moment all of those disintegrate as well. Until all that's left is her brain, and it slops down into the juice and is sucked away by the current.
Wow.
Jeannie,
Yeah.
how are we doing?
I mean, I'm fine. I guess everybody now knows I have weird burlap organs.
Well,
That's
That was like
distressing.
that was a secret, but
to be also fair, like, most of your party members probably don't know what organs are supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, Ekon does, which
That's why he's the
Well,
one
yeah,
who failed.
but you've
That's why
also
he's the-
you've also done the exploratory surgery before.
yeah.
Ekon, watching that happen is horrifying because, like, you're a man of science, right? You've performed surgeries, you're skilled in medicine, but seeing the human body broke down in that way, even knowing that genies is strange, you have to internalize it in one of these two ways, both of which are unsettling, and it's up to you. Either, oh my god, we all have horrific meat golems inside of us at all times, and I can't separate the idea of, like, there's me, and then there's the horrible meat golem inside that's trying to get out.
Okay.
Or, oh my god, that is a harsh, immediate reminder that we are all meat golems, and that's all we are, and it's all we can ever be.
You're now aware that you have shoulders.
Okay, so I just saw my sister disintegrate in front of me.
Yeah, and then her brain slopped into the pool of blue liquid, and it got siphoned away.
just like
Yeah.
goldfish jumped into the liquid.
Yeah, once it registers, the Edmont does the same.
Genie, in or out? In or out?
In.
In. Okay. So, Edmont, now you're reaching in?
Yeah.
And all of you watch the same thing happen to Edmont almost instantly. All of his clothes vanish, then all of his hair, then all of his skin. And this time he actually has the correct human skeleton and muscle tissue and organs. So for a moment he's just standing there, a beating heart surrounded by a rib cage and muscle. But then the muscle disintegrates, and then the organ, and then the skeleton, and then his brain gets sucked into the basin. Edmont, in or out? In or out? In? Okay.
I think Evie just screams at this point.
And then both the north and south were the pixel walls, right?
Yep, they were walls of force.
Okay.
Okay. Genie, in or out?
Out.
Out. Edmont, in or out?
Out.
Out. For a moment, the two of you just feel vertigo. Everything spins and swirls, and it feels like you're going to throw up, but of course you don't have any of those organs anymore. You're just a brain. And for a moment, you just feel the most bizarre, just raw electrical impulse sensation as your brain flops out onto the stone floor. And then your skull grows back, and your muscles, and then your organs, and your skin, and then your hair reforms, and your clothes as well. You're both sopping wet and laying in this new chamber. You flopped out of the floor, and you can see the blue is flowing in from here and joining this large circular artery that trails around. Other than as the vertigo fades, and other than just being wet from having been submerged in this kind of tepid liquid, you don't feel any worse for wear. In front of you, you could follow the flow of the liquid here is going counterclockwise, and the room continues in both directions. And then in front of you is this terraced structure with the brightest light up at the top of it. And you can hear the water rushing up there, as though the liquid is spouting out with like a fountain and falling over the stone structure at its apex.
Edmont looks a little unsteady for a moment, then looks and says, he's, Genie standing there across from him, and he's like, oh, thank the gods.
Thank the gods? Oh, you're a polytheist?
Yeah. I guess, because there's...
Edmont's
air
trying to
exists,
stay
I guess.
open-minded. Like, you might switch over to
Yeah.
Heimdall. I don't know.
I don't know, Heimdall, maybe, I don't know.
Heimdall's got a
Whichever
cool
one's-
rainbow bridge. What does air have?
Crystal
The
Tower.
Crystal Tower and the light of the entire world.
Oh,
So yeah, the four of you back here just watched two of your companions just completely disintegrate and get sucked into this flow.
Evie screams to Victor, telepathy now.
Victor will attempt to establish telepathy and make sure they're okay.
With who?
Evie, and he'll see if he can find Genie and Edmund's brain.
Yeah,
I guess
when you
everybody just
go
to
to
keep it open.
establish a connection with Genie. The first time, it doesn't work. The second time, you establish the connection normally. So Genie, you flop out of this pool. You have just enough time to kind of exhale once, get a sense of your surrounding, and you're watching Edmont form in front of you when Victor taps into your brain.
Okay. I'm assuming Victor sounds concerned.
Yeah.
y'all remember that scene in Galaxy Quest where the rest of the crew teleports for the first time?
Yeah. So, Genie's first response is to go, ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Which of us is Monk and it's like it just lands there and he's like, that's a hell of a thing.
Are you guys alive?
Yeah, we're alive. That was extremely disconcerting.
Evie,
all
they
my
say
bits.
it's safe. Jump in.
We have all of our bits.
They're alive?
Yeah, that's what they say.
My response is I have all of my bits.
Ekon just kind of puts his head in his between his knees and sits here, not looking anywhere near where Evie is, looking away, but also not looking in the brains. In fact, he's gonna keep his eyes closed.
Okay.
Just as a general survival strategy, that sounds like a better idea.
And
We'll
Orson
do that.
kind of hunches down next to Ekon, like concerned.
Well, I don't actually know why we're in here, but since we're in here, let's see what's on the other side. And
Genie
Victor will jump in.
Before you do that, Victor, Genie says it's like I guess being a fish in a river.
So
At some
Victor
point, you gotta
jumps
jump
in.
out.
Victor jumps in while Genie is talking, and the question is, does he continue to hear her thoughts as he's being transmitted?
No, as soon as you touch the liquid, the connection is cut. So Evie, you then watch Victor disintegrate in the exact same way. All the layers of him until he's just a brain, and they get sucked down into it. Victor, in or out? In or out? Did we lose him? Is he gone?
Maybe.
Victor.
He went too far in.
He went too far in.
He said squagonal.
Where'd he go? He didn't show that he's disconnected.
It was too terrifying. He's had
It
enough.
was too distressing. Oh no.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'll give Ekon a little pep talk, I guess.
Okay.
Ekon, they're okay. We're gonna get through this. We'll go through together. Okay?
Go through. They disintegrated.
No, Victor says they're okay.
They're just look. Don't you just hear the sloshing? You're just a bunch of pile of organs. I could name all of them, and it doesn't help any of us. Kidney. He kind of pokes you around the kidney.
Look, Evie probably doesn't know what that. I mean, she probably has a vague idea that she has kidneys, but
You've
in
eaten
her
kidney
society-
pie at some point.
Well, she's also got to know that kidneys are prime stabbing locations.
Yeah, you're right. Someone like Evie would know what the kidneys are. Ekon, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this.
That's your lung talking. It's literally your lung and diaphragm. It's not you.
It is me.
No, it's air going through meat.
Well, maybe that's all we are.
God,
God, I'm so bad at this. Orson, can you give us a minute?
He looks concerned. Don't you think we should stay together?
Tendons hold you together.
Orson seems fine with that.
We're all like we need to get the children's book. You're all made of meat, and that's okay.
Okay. So Evie thinks about it for a second, says, Ekon,
Yeah.
you are far more than just a piece of meat. You are a man of veritas and a man of air. And there's dignity in both of those things.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to open my eyes, but if you
Okay.
put my hand in the stuff, all of my meat will probably go to where everyone else's meat is. And that is, for some reason, good. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing anymore. Aside from sloshing.
We're going to figure this out together, Ekon. I promise. Ready?
No.
I'll wait as long as you need to, but we have to go find the others.
Orson asks how much of him is stomach.
For you?
About 6%, I think.
No, I think I can get up to 15. He pats his belly. What's next?
Ekon's still just,
Ekon, hold my hand. We'll do this together.
Okay. Ekon is not opening his eyes, but he will
That's good.
stand up and hold her hand.
Orson, you have to go first. I don't want you to see me naked.
He gives you a look like he doesn't want to see you naked either. And Orson kind of gives you one last look, like, you're sure this is safe?
I want to point out he just saw you naked because we're identical.
God damn it. He's right.
That was an episode of Friends, wasn't it? Ah, the 90s. Orson, in or out?
Oh, Orson's in.
Orson's in. In or out?
Out.
Out. Orson's brain... Technically, Victor's not here yet, because I don't know where Victor ended up.
Just wherever the...
Yeah, Orson's brain slops out.
Where did my thing go?
Well, I asked you, in or out? You didn't answer.
Oh, no, I said in.
You said in or out?
Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
Were you on mute?
Yeah,
I
you've
may
been
have been,
silent
yeah,
this entire
You
time.
jumped through.
So I asked you again, in or out?
In.
In or out?
In.
In or out?
In.
In or out?
In.
In or out?
Out.
The reason Victor wasn't apparent at first is because your brain sloshes out way up here. And you're all alone. And after a moment, you can hear kind of echoing, so you can't make out words, but you can hear conversation on the other side of this enormous room.
Can I try and walk over there?
Yeah, and you walk over and you can see this huge, huge cavern. I'll just go ahead and give most of it to you.
I'm glad you're alive, Victor.
Jeannie looks at him and says, "Oh my god!"
Boo.
No, she says, "Oh my god!" Like, what is that on your? What happened to your face?
Your face is still in there. All right, what's happening with Evie and Ekon?
Ekon, Air has a plan for us. It's gonna be okay.
Okay.
Ready?
No.
Ekon, we gotta go. Put your shoes on.
I mean, if you take his hand, Ekon will stand up and follow you.
Yeah. She takes his hand. I don't know how this interaction is gonna go with our familiars. They're spiritual beings.
You can...
Yeah, I'll
Pocket them
pocket
every
dimension my
Yeah, okay.
familiar.
I'll pocket my familiar. He won't let me. Come on. Okay. Ready?
Nope.
Okay. The his hand, and I touch both our hands to the liquid at the same time.
And you immediately lose the sensation of holding each other's hands because your skin vanishes within a couple seconds. Evie, in or out?
In.
In or out?
Out.
Evie, you slosh out. Or your brain does, and then you reform. Ekon, in or out?
Meat.
Yes, you are meat, but are you in or out?
Meat.
I guess he just freaks out and gets in.
Are you just staying in?
Meat?
You,
In.
Evie, you reconstitute yourself, and after a few moments, you watch a brain swirl past you, flowing away counterclockwise. After a few seconds, it comes back around, and then it comes back around again.
I don't want to touch the thing again because it's gonna shoot me in there too. Brother, Edmont calls out to his brother, shouting, "Brother, will
Orson-
yourself out!"
He can't hear. He
Orson,
doesn't
give-
have ears. He's just...
Orson, give me your spear.
Orson hands the spear. Are you going to spear the brain?
No, I'm going to like flick it out with the butt.
Okay.
After next time it comes around, I just flick it out.
All right, roll to hit.
All right.
I mean, it's moving pretty quickly.
It's actually not bad. You are proficient with the spear, yes?
No. That is a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
What'd I do with Ekon's token? Oh, it's still up here. Ekon, you find yourself reconstituted as Genie has flicked your brain across over here, and your ears are ringing, and you have the worst headache of your life. You've literally never been hit in the head harder. Other than that, you're no worse for wear.
I mean, I'm
1d4.
still meat.
Minus
Other-
1d4 intelligence.
You're not mechanically
Yeah, I know.
okay.
He's mechanically meat, though.
He is mechanically meat.
He's just like, he thinks he's me. I don't know what to do with this. I'm not. This is not my job.
We are meat.
Orson, we are meat.
Yeah, it's like Genie and Orson say that. What's the big deal?
I mean, we're not meat in the same way that, like, cows and sheep are meat.
We're thinking meat. What we are is we're ghosts.
And then you see Orson, like, a look on his face, like, wait a minute. Why aren't we the same as cows and sheeps and You could fry a human steak? There's no reason you couldn't. And you can see he's also starting to freak out a little bit.
Orson, no, just stop thinking about that, please.
We're ghosts. Orson, don't worry. It's okay. We're ghosts riding around in meat puppets. It's fine.
Okay, look.
Cousin!
We're what?
It's okay.
Okay, you know what? When we get back to Brennan, I'm going to give you all the number of my therapist. She's great. She's going to help you unpack all this. But right now, just got to stay focused.
Her name is Lois Vesterhoff. Best therapist in the multiverse.
So the cavern
right
you've
now.
got, this ring-shaped cavern you've entered is enormous. So you can see the flows of liquid coming in at all different directions all the way around. In the center of the cavern is this large terraced structure in which you can see some of these springs of water. And at the top of the structure, you see this fountain flowing over the top. At the far end
Edmont's
of the
gonna start
room,
climbing.
on the opposite side, you see another one of these daises with the same large candelabra structure with 7 basins, each big enough to hold a human head.
Do we need to find,
Yeah.
like... We don't have 7 human heads, but...
Yeah, Edmont is gonna start climbing the terrace, trying to get a good look at it.
And it's not difficult. It's 4 or 5 levels up. And each level you only have to hoist yourself up, maybe 5 or 6 feet. But it's a pentagonal structure. And when you get to the top, you see this crystalline structure that the fountain is erupting up and around. So the sound of the water at the top is almost deafening. Inside the structure, you see the creature that you sketched based on Ekon's descriptions. This horrifying monster with tentacles where its face should be. It's floating inert in the center of a large chunk of translucent crystal, just hovering above where this fountain of liquefied brain juice is squirting over it.
Edmont looks real wide-eyed up at it, and then he's like, I think we found our prisoner.
Oh, Brick Road. I have a question. It's
Okay.
out of character. Well, it's not a question. It's a statement. I hope beyond hope. I want desperately this to be our friend from
The Wild.
Yes.
Griagro?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Oh.
No, Griagro is something very different.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
What do you mean that's a shame? Griagro was awful. Griagro built psychic bombs out of living people.
He did do that. He did do that.
He did it. We only saw him do it once.
He enslaved a race of orcs.
They're
Did do
orcs,
that.
though. Gregor did nothing wrong, is what I'm saying.
No, Griagro did everything wrong.
Hashtag Griagro did everything wrong.
The whole point of Griagro is I wanted to see how far you guys would ally with an obviously evil mind flayer. Also, you don't know if this is a mind flayer. This could be anybody with a squid for a head.
Okay, so I look up, I just see a guy with a squid for a head.
Well, if you're looking up from the bottom, you don't see that kind of detail. Edmont actually climbed up to the top of the terrace.
Okay.
Yeah, Edmont reaches and tries to touch the crystalline structure.
Okay, and you can feel the liquid running down over your fingers and over your hands. And feeling the structure, it feels just like solid stone. It's not, you're almost expecting it to be cold because it looks like you're looking at a creature frozen in ice. But it's not. It's just a hunk of translucent crystal.
Well, if I had...
Victor and
yeah.
Orson, for a moment, each of you sees the illumination in the pool in front of you, or the circular channel in the floor. Near to you, each see a very bright point of illumination, just for a moment. One of them here, and one of them here.
Well, if I had known we were going to have another being trapped in stasis, I would have brought that device we used to break out Darkwood.
This
with
doesn't
us.
seem to be
Guys,
the
I
same
think
kind
something
of
might
dice at
be-
all.
We're
think
not
something
doing
might
that.
be
We're
coming,
not, we're
guys.
not doing that method again. That damn nearly killed me.
Victor
but-
prepares himself for more things to attack.
Okay?
But it didn't. See,
We are in the magical southern hemisphere because things are going counterclockwise. We know that much.
So if we look north, can we see down this passageway any?
You can see where there is an opening in the passageway that goes down this hallway here.
what's the light situation in here? Like,
Very bright, because everything you see on the map that is blue is giving off illumination.
gotcha.
What's the deal with this altar?
So this is a large candelabra.
Mhm.
It is a marble dais, and it has 7 structures coming out. 3 on the left and 3 on the right. And then the middle one is the highest. It's about the correct height to like set your chin on. And at the end of each of these 7 structures is a basin that looks large enough to hold a human head.
So, the spot that Orson, I'm assuming, points out that is glittery, is there anything there visible now?
By the time Orson points it out and you come over to look, it's no longer giving off the bright flash that it was a moment ago. But looking down into the stone, now that you know where to look, you can see a pentagonal scratch. It's a marker of some kind.
Edmont, touch the crystal again. Genie yells up to you.
I'll touch it again.
When he does, and for a moment, the pentagon in the base of the water glows very brightly with a white flash. And Victor, you see the same thing up where you're standing, and you also see one there and there.
Victor's gonna take a closer look because he's stupid.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Now that you know where to look, when you look down in where the liquid is flowing through the channel, you can see this pentagonal scratch, a marker carved into the stone.
Genie is going to yell over at Ekon and ask him if he sees any glowing pentagons.
Oh,
Yeah.
see any glowing pentagons?
I know you were examining the candelabra.
Can I look in the direction Genie's indicating to look for pentagons?
Is Edmont touching the crystal again?
Yeah, no longer than maybe a second or two. Never. He's not like putting his hand directly on it for like he's not holding his hand on it. He's just kind of tapping it every few seconds.
Then yeah, Ekon, you see one here and here.
So this creature is not showing any signs of awareness. It's like in stasis.
It's like it's frozen in a block of ice. It's very reminiscent of the creatures you saw in the previous dungeon, who were also frozen in blocks of ice.
It doesn't feel like ice.
No, it's not cold. It's not.
Does it feel like quartz or something like that, or?
It just feels like smooth stone.
Is the symbol still there, just not lit up?
Yeah, it's like somebody had taken a crowbar or something and gouged a pentagon down into the stone in the bottom of the channel.
Genie is going to very slowly, basically, just spend however long. She's going to go 5 feet at a time, look in there, and investigate each one of these squares to try and like suss out like where all of the
and you find
spots are.
3 more. One here,
Mhm.
one here, and one here. 9 in total.
So there's one channel though that does not have a marking on it.
They are on the channels, aren't they?
They certainly are. It's this one that does not have a marking.
All right, touch it again, and we'll confirm it doesn't have one.
Yeah, and after a few more moments of Edmont touching the crystal and you guys are stationed and moving around, you confirm that these are where the 9 markers are. Not only does the channel where Evie is standing not give off a bright flash, but examining it very closely, you do not see the same marker carved down there.
But there is something different about this one. I don't know what it is, but I would suspect these are somehow involved in the magic that's keeping this creature sealed.
Is the liquid flowing into this channel, into the circular channel, or
Yes,
is
the
it
liquid is
out?
flowing in from all directions and joining the center channel and then flowing in a counterclockwise direction around this circle.
Okay, so we can't like brain ride.
You can.
way
You
out
could
of
jump
there?
back in the channel, but you would just go around in circles. Like
Yeah,
the
I
lazy river at a water park. Except for your brain.
Can I? Looks like we can step over and get back toward that, over in that direction.
And when you go up to the corner, you just see it disappear down into the floor. The water is
And it
flowing
is-
in from outside.
Wall from here.
Yep, this is a wall.
Okay.
Well, we've basically only got one way to go. I
there,
suggest we try to kind of suss out if there's any. I don't
looks
know.
like there's a path. There looks like there's a pathway over here that we can get through over here.
Yeah. So, like, my working theory currently is that there is some kind of seal that is probably at the end of these lines, and then if we want to let this guy out to murder him, I don't know, then, or at least talk
Do we
to him.
want to now? Do we want to murder him? Because what I see, based on my readings of my brother's magic and what he told us, this is an enemy of Aslan.
Indeed, but he's not necessarily an enemy we want to release. He's probably very dangerous.
Agreed, but just keep that in mind
We
because
may
if
be
we,
able to get
if we
information
end
from
up
him.
if we inadvertently release him, then
ham on pumpernickel, a single slice of uncooked onion, and sliced fried potatoes, if you please. Delectable.
is that any louder or quieter from when we were up on the surface of the mirror?
It sounds exactly the same, except it's It's a booming, loud whisper at this point, as though the person who you are hearing is deliberately trying to keep their voice low. But no, it sounded exactly the same otherwise.
Orson.
I am absolutely on board with getting information from this guy if we can, but I'm not sure we can get out of here without killing him.
Orson. Human ham.
Orson's
Yeah,
there.
we're going to have to destroy or reseal whatever is in here.
Indeed.
I guess my only regret at this point is we didn't figure out if there was anything in the other mirror. Maybe it's empty and we can just put it in the good one.
I think it requires 2 for the device to function.
Yeah, the 2 mirrors together
okay.
constitute one single artifact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They already explained the Sedgwick and Ray already explained it this much. So I guess we follow the pathway up here.
Okay.
I mean, we are on a timeline, like a deadline. We've got
Snakes
24
upward a
hours.
little bit, and then splits into 2 directions, left or right. And you can see one of the channels cutting across the floor in front of you.
That was our intent, to find the thing inside and kill it.
Potentially.
I mean, I think our intent currently is to just look around and see what we see.
Let's go. Well, the channel that was not marked was going off in an easterly direction, I think. Yo,
You want to go this way?
yeah.
So ahead of you, about 30 feet, as you climb these stairs, you can see the passageway enters a room beyond, but there's a wall of force. So you can't make out any details of the room. However, you can see a considerable amount of illumination in the room. So you can tell that one of the channels cuts through it at some point in front of you. But the wall of force seems solid.
Tries to push through, and then failing that, he'll come back down and says, well, the illusion of choice, and starts walking up in this direction.
You know, there are wizards who can disintegrate those things.
As you get to the
Are any
top
of
of the
them
stairs here, you find a little cul-de-sac with a pillar that reaches up to the ceiling above you. And to your right is another shelf where a human could squeeze into the flow.
But the flow is going towards this room down here.
Correct.
So that doesn't seem like a good...
Crossover, looking down here.
Okay. No wall of force this time as you come over and cross the next channel, but pull up my room list here. So we've established that humans are just meat.
Yeah.
Oh, are we in a meat circus?
This room you're looking into is an entire meat room.
No, I don't like this.
I don't like this at all.
I look in here and I just turn around and say, Ekon, can you come over here for a second?
The floor in front of you gives way to a chasm. So the room itself, it's maybe a 20-foot drop to the floor. But once you enter the room, the floor, the walls, these 4 pillars, just pulsing masses of muscle, flesh, and veins.
Don't
And that's
like
where we're
that.
gonna leave it for the week. On that beautiful note. So I'm gonna go hook us up a straw poll. No, I'm gonna save this map first.
Probably a good idea. So you don't pull it out of without saving it.
Call this map not Griagro. Because it's not. It's
Good
not.
name.
Not
Good
every
name.
mind flayer is Griagro.
All I'm saying is that would have been a good callback.
I mean, I considered it, but there are reasons it can't be Griagro. Not the least of which is if we ever go back to that setting, he's going to be like a primary villain because he just took over a huge part of the world.
Like, I to be honest, would not want to go back to that setting because Bernie would fuck with us. Like that would just be. That's
Oh, we've
what
never
he
had
does.
this happen before.
That's entirely your fault, Treble.
I displayed, I think, considerable restraint in that it took, like, what is it, 33 sessions before we finally got to a callback to an old campaign with the Duke.
You did. No,
Considerable
Rickard,
restraint.
you didn't even make it session 0, sir. You didn't even make it to session 0.
Wait, what?
Also, you did like we ran into
Pretty
a
much.
warlock.
Pretty much. Yeah. Also, not the
Oh,
not,
right,
not
the
least of
warlock,
which the
yeah.
warlock, but also Brick Road. Like, I don't think I didn't notice the names of like all of Edmont and Ekon's branch of the family.
I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, I'm gonna go dark for a second so I can add up some experience for you if you want to start discussing your blips, and I'll be right back.
All right, who's the most creative today?
I pushed a thing into a hole.
You did push a thing
Ooh.
into a hole.
I wanna who jumped first headlong into the meat stuff?
That was Genie.
That was Genie that jumped into it first.
I'm gonna say creative. Like I'm gonna give you creative for that, Destil. That's fine.
For the meat phobia.
Like, yeah, I do want to give him. I want to give him a blip for the meat phobia.
Okay. Who furthered the party's goals the most today?
That would be Edmont. I'm gonna say because he's taken a little bit of charge in this dungeon. Taking a little bit of charge.
Who's a badass?
Genie for sticking her hand into the stuff.
Yeah.
into the blue goop.
Genie's just been on board with this adventure from step one. She's like, so I have this device already putting the hat on. There's this
Who's
crack.
intangible.
Intangible? Is that Destil with the No. Intangible. I'm gonna give intangible to Evie for the interplay between the two of you on that, and then like the next time it comes up, I'm gonna alternate on that every time it comes up. Just the two of you just bickering over like doing who's doing a bad job. Yeah, that was amusing.
By the way, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out the people who drew this beautiful but also very unsettling map. And also kind of hard to use, but no, it's a gorgeous map. I've actually had it sitting here for a while.
Thank you, Atraxian Bear, for your beautiful artwork.
Ataraxian bear. I wonder if he's a real bear.
Is he the bear that's always with you?
It's the guy who runs the I'm a Bear Twitter.
I love that Twitter. It's like the best.
Is he the bear that's always with you? Thank you, Saul. I appreciate that. I heard you. You are seen.
I have an audience of one.
I listen. That is a very niche joke that probably I'm the only one who will think funny.
I don't understand it, so yeah.
All right, who wants some experience points?
Sure.
I do.
All right, for 8 of the glass shardlings, which were just reskinned quicklings, basically.
Yeah.
Quicklings are little assholes.
Without the blurry movement, but with infernal wounds added. I felt like the minor adds of that fight did not need both of those advantages.
What you should have done is you should have reskinned Agdon Longscarf.
No, that's I actually like my players.
Agdon Longscarf would have gotten jogged by the 5 of us, the 6 of us.
And then the one glass Myrmidon. Everybody is taking 750 experience points. 750. We've decided to explore the dungeon back to front. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, you'd give us no other options, so question mark?
Yeah, there were other options. You just didn't discover them. You may discover them as you go through the dungeon and start learning things about it. This is one of those complicated dungeons where, like, on my DM's version of the map, I have like 3 different Photoshop layers giving me access to different information about the various rooms and how they interact.
Like which way the channels flow and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the layers. Is literally just arrows showing the flowing of all the channels.
That's cool. No, it's a
Actually-
red dungeon. I dig it.
All right. Yeah, let's do some. Who wants to make a case for their blips first?
I'll
I
go
can go.
first.
I heard everybody at once. I'm just gonna pick Genie because Treble's my favorite.
Thank you.
Aw.
You're my third favorite Brick Road.
Oh, thanks.
So count neutral. When in doubt, go with your gut for just sticking her hand straight into the water.
I mean, I've been saying it's water. I guess technically it's like spinal fluid.
Yeah, it's brain juice.
Brain
I got
juice.
that. It's like it's probably a little sticky. Practical solutions to impractical problems. She sees. You know what? No, I'm actually going to not do that one. I don't really have one for that one, and I'm going to go over and roll that same thing into the flaw. Don't worry about it. It was just a setback for seeing a glass monster, casting a thunder wave on it. It doing really good, but it doing really bad.
So the mechanic there was if you make an attack with a bludgeoning weapon or thunder damage and miss, there was a 20% chance you would crack the glass and create more of the little bastards. I wasn't thinking at the time, oh, somebody's going to use a thunder spell that hits a bunch of squares at once. So I basically, like, think, okay, there's like a 20% chance per square, I guess?
It's just like auto proc, maybe like 3 of them or something like that. That's
Yeah,
what I
like
would've
if
done in that
Edmont had ever
situation.
attacked with his fists and hit and missed and hit the glass instead, he might have created more of the creatures.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
maybe
good
using
thing I
that
was
first
using the
spell
whip
would've been
then.
real bad.
Well, the creatures were vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, so it was the best way to damage them. So,
Then the video.
okay. All right, I also heard Saul in there, and Saul's actually my favorite.
Aw, I love you too. You mess with my family, you mess with me for being Ekon's emotional support.
Now, I have to ask, at this point, is she counting Edmont as messing with the family? Because Edmont stood up and said, like, look, I think you're doing a bad job, and I'd be doing it way better.
Look, he's doing that, and, you know, last time Victor was basically alarmingly enthusiastic about just overthrowing her.
It's not that Victor wants to overthrow her and take her place. He just doesn't want her making decisions if she's going to be making bad ones.
Oh, is that all?
That's kind of
Another
Edmont's
Edmont charge.
feeling about it as well.
They've
just
only
wanna
known
say-
Darkwood for 1 week, and they both already like him way more than you.
Edmont was
just
doing this way before we met Rowan Darkwood.
So just for the record, I feel like all the decisions Evie has made make sense from her point of view. And that's all I have to say from there.
Okay. What other blips would
Um,
you like to claim?
I must become a leader others can I feel like she needs to start failing that one. But she orchestrated the combination attack against the glass golem.
Okay.
And then flaw no one understands for the increasing rift coming between her and Edmund.
Mm-hmm. Edmont is the illusionist now. Yeah, I have a record of everybody who got a Taraka rating and what cards got pulled.
I wanted to get a Taraka reading, but there was never a good time.
It's
So
too late now. Victor was cut off, I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
remember.
Victor got cut
Yeah,
off.
Victor was cut off.
Who's next?
I can go. Oh wait, I already went.
You already went.
I want double
Dude.
blips. Damn it!
You can go.
Ekon.
Alright, so I've got Lawful Good, the Shining Words of Error lay down a path for us all for asking before summoning a Celestial, confining it to Ravenloft?
Yeah,
call.
that would have been pretty bad if you summoned in like an angel and then it couldn't get back out. In fact, one of the adventures in Curse of Strahd is an angel that got stuck in Barovia. I assume because somebody summoned him there, and then like he went crazy and like built a wacky like Dr. Moreau hospital.
Oh
And then,
yeah. Oh right.
That's where the Ardlings came from.
I guess.
Then I've got Flaw. I'm sure there has to be something good over that next hill for, we'll just jump on the mirror. It's fine.
Is that it?
Oh, and initiative.
All right. Edmont, what do you got for me? You're actually my favorite.
Okay, thank you. I have my alignment, lawful neutral, take everything you can, give nothing back. For his for being absolutely blunt about his opinions toward Evelyn.
Mm-hmm. So, take everything you can, give nothing back. That almost sounds like Darkwood's philosophy.
There is a reason. There is a reason why Edmont has taken such a shine to it. I have my ideal, life is my canvas, and I will make my mark on it for insisting that his brother tell him as many details as he possibly could about this creature that is now in stasis in front of us.
Yeah, you might be the first Ferniskin who has drawn a Mind Flayer.
And then the world is filled with predators and prey, and I sure as hell am not the prey for doing his damnedest to try and beat the crap out of this thing, even though he wasn't doing a whole lot of work and everything, and very much.
So yeah, the monsters had resistance to slashing damage and vulnerable to bludgeoning damage and thunder.
Yeah.
All right, and Victor's not my favorite, but I've known him the longest.
I appreciate your honesty.
You did bring me a dick magnet.
I did. I hope it's still in the fridge.
It is.
Very good. Very good.
She can't get rid of it. She just can't bring herself to take a magnet off the fridge once it's there.
Very good. Very good.
Excellent.
Um,
All according to Keikaku.
So I guess for the ends justify the mean, that would be agreeing to do this whole body horror mirror shrunken mumbo jumbo certainly going to end in a bad way thing, because we need to see what's in the mirror.
Well, now that you know what's in the mirror.
Yeah. So for seek the truth, the ideal seek the truth no matter the cost, that would be jumping into the liquid vat of melty stuff.
It's just brain fluid. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And then for flaw, valuing knowledge over people, that would be attacking the creature with thunder, even knowing that would probably be an issue for everybody.
So yours would have been single target thunder damage. So it would have only turned into an issue if you attacked and then missed by a lot. Versus like Thunder Wave. Was it Thunder Wave you used?
Yeah, I use
Yeah.
Thunder Wave.
Like by default hits like 9 squares.
I almost use Shatter.
Is that also thunder damage?
It is also thunder damage, but it's like a 10-foot. It'd be more squares and objects, and it actually damages objects.
Specifically does more damage to crystal stuff and brittle things.
Yeah.
That probably would have been worse. All right, who had the most creative solution to a problem this session?
That is.
Did we say it was going to be Destil?
I want to give Destil like creative for the brain, right? the fear of meat.
Fear of meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I want. Somebody else want to give him something different?
For intangibles, you mean?
No. I have something else for intangibles.
Okay, well, we're on creative right now.
I know, creative, fear of meat.
That was a solution to a problem?
No.
It was a roleplay solution.
I thought that it was very creative role playing.
It was. I don't know that it solved the problem. It might have created interesting new problems.
What I can do in this situation.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, if we had never, if we only gave blips out for successes,
Oh, I mean, I'll put the blip there, but that's a very creative interpretation of having solved a problem creatively. It's like double creative.
And that's why we want to give it for creative.
And that's why he deserves 2 blips.
Who did the most to further the party's goals this session?
Okay. I'm going to put.
You're gonna put what?
I'm going to put forward Edmont because he's been kind of taking charge in this dungeon,
Yeah, he is.
leading the way. That was it. That was
Yeah.
what I had said originally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't say no to blips.
Who is the badass?
Okay, so Evie for standing up for her rights as the Duchess and the appointed leader of the group. And then the intangible is the opposite of that, of Edmont and his challenging of that authority. And just like, you're doing a bad job and you should feel bad.
I don't remember him saying you should feel bad.
I think it's implied.
And then Ekon has our straw poll for the week. All right. Let me look up blip values here. We're on level 10, yes? So blips are
Yes.
worth 700. That's halfway. Level 10 is halfway.
Sure. Let's go with that.
I feel like for the past couple campaigns, I've aimed to finish up at like level 12, and we always land closer to like level 15. But
Yeah.
that's fine, whatever. So yeah, blips are worth 700.
Uh-huh.
Edmont, you have 6 and you just earned 5. Ekon, you have 0 and earned 5. Do you want to just come in next week with 5?
Sorry to cut out there. I said yes.
Yes? Okay. Evie, you have 6 and you earned 4, so you're rolling those over. Jeannie, you have 6 and earned 3, so you're rolling those over. And Victor, you have 6. I'm no, sorry, you have 5 and you earned 3, so you're rolling over at least 2.
Yeah, roll over 2.
So does everybody want to come in next week with 6, except for Ekon, who's coming in with 5? Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Edmont is coming into next session with 5 because he's gonna burn a blip and level up.
Okay.
That means Orson also
Yeah.
levels.
Orson also is a level.
Sorry, blips are 700?
Yes, 700.
So let's
Edmont, are
see
you taking
here.
another... Oh, I have to get a reputation from Ekon I was supposed to do at the beginning of the session.
Oh yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
That's all right.
I'll get it to you next time. I just apparently forgot to think about it.
Yeah, I'll make a note to make sure to get that next session then. Okay. So, when we come back next week, we will see what's going on in the crazy meat room. We are all meat. It's now a meat campaign.
Nice to meet you.